as a second Trump administration takes shape. Trump's plans for mass deportation of people here unlawfully are getting set as well. Donald Trump has announced that the former head of ICE, that's the government's Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, Tom Homan, as we just saw Selena report, he's coming out of retirement to serve in a position Trump is now calling the border czar, and he's going to be in charge of these mass deportations. Joining me now, Marcia Espinoza. She's the former assistant for public affairs at the Department of Homeland Security. So, Marcia, Donald Trump has his election victory, a mandate he's reading it as. How would this work, these mass deportations that he's promised and apparently wants to execute?
Well, we're not sure how he plans to make this work. What we do know is he's bringing back some of his toughest folks on immigration. Tom Homan, who led ICE, he's a former Border Patrol agent, and then Stephen Miller, who was one of the hardest liners on immigration proposals. But in order to carry out what they have said so far, they would need a lot more money, a lot more detention space, and a lot more cooperation with other countries. All of this, how they do this still remains to be seen. They don't have the number of ICE agents available right now to carry out these orders. And one thing that really bothers me in what they're saying is that they plan to go after the worst of the worst, or the folks who are, the criminals or national security interests. That's what ICE already does. That's something that was implemented under the Obama administration and then actually done away with in the Trump administration and brought back by the Biden administration. So right now they're already going after the worst of the worst. The problem with that is that takes a lot of time, effort, and manpower. And what we could see this administration do, what they did before, is just go after the numbers. Whoever they find to just round up and deport. So a lot remains to be seen. They did this before very cruelly and inhumanely, and I think that they're going to come back again with a vengeance. And I worry what that means for the department, and most of all for the career employees who are there at the department who are going to be forced to carry all this out.
And he also talks about, mass layoffs or firings in the federal civil service to get his people in there. We'll see how that goes. But back to the practical problems that you've just outlined, considerable in achieving what Trump has promised to do. And I just wonder, going to ask you to use your imagination here. Are there extraordinary authorities? He's talked about the military and things like that would be available to a president in order to do something like this.
Yes, absolutely. On day one, he could declare an emergency declaration that would allow him to take funds from the Pentagon or resources from the Pentagon in order to complete some of this. He could also go back to inhumane policies like we've seen in Operation Wetback, which allows the officers to basically round up anyone who even looks like they're not from here. So a lot of just cruel policies that could be done. Yes, he could absolutely do that. What I do think that he will do right away is undo a lot of the measures that the Biden administration put in place to try to do all of these things orderly, humanely, working with other countries. It doesn't seem like they care about that. They are taking the stick rather than the carrot approach, basically do what we say or else. So that could lead to, firings or removals of government employees to other positions. We don't know what that means for other countries. Mexico has a new president now. So it remains to be seen how Mexico will work with the United States. The Biden administration worked, for the past 4 years to rebuild a lot of those relationships. Remember, you need other countries' permissions to accept removals, right? You can't just deport someone to another country unless that country agrees to accept them. So it is a lot harder than it seems. You need planes, you need resources, you need agents, and all of those things take a lot of time and a lot of effort. So, and again, it's very, very costly. So we just don't know. I think that the department is probably preparing for the worst, not only DHS, but the State Department as well.
All right, Marcia Espinoza, thank you for the reality check on what seems to be a top priority of this incoming administration. And as you say, it's going to be a real challenge in so many ways. And we thank you. Thanks very much.